I wish someone had warned me how chasing the wrong dreams could break me. I was 24, drowning in a life that looked perfect on paper, but felt like a prison in my soul. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho hit me like a lightning bolt, especially that one line. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. At first, I thought it was just poetic fluff, but it unraveled my entire existence. I'd been chasing a corporate job, a fancy apartment, and a life everyone else told me I should want. But deep down, I was miserable, lost, and spiraling into a darkness I couldn't name. That book didn't just change my mindset, it forced me to confront the lie I was living. I grew up in a small town where success meant a stable job, a nice car, and a house by 30. So, I grinded. I landed a marketing job in Chicago, pulling 60-hour weeks, earning $65,000 a year, decent for a 24-year-old. But every night, I'd come home to my sleek apartment, collapse on the couch, and feel nothing. I was ticking boxes, not living. My friends were posting their dream lives on Instagram, vacations, promotions, engagements, and I was doing the same. Yet I'd stare at my phone for hours, scrolling through lives that seemed better than mine, wondering why I felt so empty. I was addicted to the hustle, to the validation, but it was killing me. Studies show 80% of millennials feel lost in their 20s, and I was a textbook case. Then, I picked up The Alchemist. I wasn't a big reader. Honestly, I hadn't touched a book since college, but a friend left it on my coffee table, and out of boredom, I flipped it open. The story of Santiago, a shepherd chasing his personal legend, felt like a punch to the gut. Coelho wrote, "To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation." I read that at 2 a.m., sitting in my dark apartment, and I started crying. I didn't even know why at first, but it hit me. I wasn't chasing my dream. I was chasing everyone else's. I wanted to write, to create, to travel to places like Morocco or Machu Picchu, not to sit in boardrooms pitching ad campaigns for products I didn't care about. That realization was terrifying. What if I'd wasted years? What if I was too late? The fear didn't stop there. I started noticing how much I'd let my life slip. I was spending 8 hours a day on my phone, social media, emails, mindless YouTube videos. My sleep was a mess. I'd stay up until 3 a.m., then drag myself to work. I gained 15 pounds from stress eating, and my relationships were crumbling. My best friend stopped inviting me out because I was always too busy. I wasn't busy, I was hiding. Hiding from the fact that I didn't know who I was anymore. The Alchemist made me see it. I was running from my personal legend because I was scared of failing, scared of what people would think if I ditched the perfect life. Coelho's words haunted me. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. I'd failed before. Side hustles that went nowhere, a blog I abandoned after 3 posts. But this was different. This was failing at life. I'd been so obsessed with security that I forgot how to take risks. I remembered a moment from the book where Santiago faces a choice: stay safe as a shepherd, or chase a treasure he might never find. I was at that crossroads. I could keep my job, my paycheck, my predictable routine, or I could take a leap. But leaping meant dismantling everything I'd built. It meant admitting I'd been wrong. By the time I finished the book, I was a wreck. I couldn't stop thinking about how I'd let fear dictate my choices. I'd always wanted to write a novel, to tell stories that moved people. But I'd buried that dream under excuses. I'm not good enough. I don't have time. Who'd read it anyway? The Alchemist didn't give me answers. It gave me questions. What was my personal legend? What was I willing to risk to find it? I started journaling, something I hadn't done since high school. I wrote about my fears, my regrets, the moments I felt alive, like the time I backpacked through Colorado and felt free for the first time in years. That was the spark. I didn't have a plan yet, but I knew I couldn't keep living someone else's dream. That spark from The Alchemist wasn't enough on its own. Knowing you're lost doesn't mean you know where to go. I was still stuck in that Chicago apartment, staring at the same four walls, my laptop open to a blank document where my novel was supposed to be. Paulo Coelho's words echoed in my head. The secret of life is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. I'd fallen plenty, but getting up, that was the hard part. I needed a way out of the rut, a way to stop chasing someone else's dream and start building my own. It wasn't easy. It took months of trial and error, moments of doubt so heavy I nearly gave up, but I found a path. Here's how I did it step by step, and how you can too. First, I had to face the mess I'd made of my time. I was wasting hours on my phone, scrolling through lives that weren't mine. I downloaded an app called Freedom to block social media during work hours. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, gone. At first, it felt like cutting off a limb. I'd reach for my phone out of habit, only to realize I couldn't doom scroll. But within a week, I gained 3 hours a day. 3 hours. That's 21 hours a week I could pour into something real. I started small. 30 minutes of writing every morning before work. No pressure to be perfect, just to show up. I'd sit with my coffee, put on lo-fi music, and type whatever came to mind. Some days it was garbage. Others, I'd write a paragraph that made me think, maybe I can do this. Step 2 was creating space, literal and mental. My apartment was a shrine to distraction, phone on the nightstand, TV blaring, notifications pinging. I moved my phone charger to the kitchen, far from my bed, so I couldn't scroll before sleep or first thing in the morning. I replaced late-night Netflix with a notebook where I'd jot down ideas for my novel. The Alchemist taught me that pursuing your personal legend means making room for it. Santiago didn't find his treasure by staying in his comfort zone. He crossed deserts. My desert was my cluttered mind, and I had to clear it. I also set a rule. No screens after 9 p.m. That one change gave me better sleep, clearer thoughts, and a sense of control I hadn't felt in years. The third step was finding my why. Coelho wrote, "People are capable, at any time in their lives, of doing what they dream of. But dreams are vague until you pin them down." I asked myself, why did I want to write? The answer wasn't fame or money. It was to feel alive, to create something that might make someone else feel the way The Alchemist made me feel. I made a vision board, not the cheesy kind, but a private one on my laptop. Photos of places I wanted to travel, quotes from authors I admired, a screenshot of a bestseller list I dreamed of hitting one day. Every time I doubted myself, I'd look at it. It was my North Star, reminding me why I was pushing through the fear. Step 4 was taking action, even when it scared me. I signed up for a local writing workshop, despite feeling like an imposter among real writers. I shared my work for the first time, hands shaking as I read aloud. The feedback wasn't all glowing, some of it stung, but it made me better. I also set a measurable goal. Write 500 words a day, 5 days a week. By month 3, I had 15,000 words of a rough draft. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it was mine. I tracked my progress on a spreadsheet, watching the numbers climb. Seeing 15,000 turn into 30,000 felt like proof I was moving toward something real. The final step was embracing failure as part of the process. The Alchemist says, "There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure." I'd been paralyzed by that fear for years, but I started seeing failure differently. My first short story got rejected by 7 magazines. Each no hurt, but I kept submitting. The 8th magazine said yes, and that one acceptance carried me for months. I also cut back my hours at my marketing job, taking a pay cut to freelance part-time. It was risky. I dipped into my savings to cover rent, but it gave me 20 extra hours a week to write. In 6 months, I finished my novel's first draft and landed a $2,000 freelance writing gig, proving I could make money doing what I loved. The results were undeniable. I went from 8 hours of screen time to under 2. I lost 10 of the 15 pounds I'd gained, not through some crash diet, but because I was less stressed, more active, more alive. I read 12 books that year, including novels that inspired my own. My relationships improved. I started calling friends, planning hikes, showing up. Most importantly, I felt like I was finally chasing my personal legend. It wasn't perfect. I still had doubts, still had days where I felt like a fraud, but I was moving forward, and that was enough. The journey didn't end with a finished draft or a few small wins. It was just the beginning. The Alchemist burned a truth into my soul. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Those words carried me through the moments I wanted to quit, when the rejections piled up, when the doubts screamed louder than my dreams. But standing here now, with a novel draft in hand, freelance gigs paying my bills, and a life that feels like mine, I know one thing for sure. You can't wait for the perfect moment to chase your personal legend. You have to start now, messy and scared, because the universe doesn't conspire until you take that first step. So, what's it going to be? Are you ready to stop scrolling, stop hiding, and start building the life you were meant to live? This isn't about me anymore. It's about you. You're watching this. Maybe feeling that same ache I felt, that gnawing sense that you're meant for something more. Maybe you're stuck in a job that drains you, or you're chasing a dream you don't even want, because it's what everyone else expects. I get it. I was there, trapped in a cycle of fear and distraction, until the Alchemist woke me up. Now, I'm asking you to wake up too. Don't let another year slip by, another month, another day. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just start. Open that notebook, sign up for that class, take that trip, write that first sentence. Whatever your personal legend is, it's waiting, but it won't come to you. You have to go to it. Here's what I want you to do right now. Grab a pen and paper, or your phone's notes app if that's what you've got, and write down one thing you've always wanted to do. Not what your parents want, not what looks good on Instagram, but what sets your heart on fire. Maybe it's starting a business, learning to paint, or traveling to a place you've only seen in pictures. Write it down. Then, commit to one tiny action today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. It could be researching a course, cutting your screen time by an hour, or telling a friend about your dream to hold yourself accountable. That one step will start a ripple effect. I promise you, the universe will start moving with you. And don't stop there. Surround yourself with inspiration. Reread The Alchemist. If you haven't already, it's not just a book, it's a roadmap. Highlight the lines that hit you hardest, like when Coelho writes, "The fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself." Let that sink in. The fear holding you back is worse than any failure you'll face. Then, find your people. Join a community, whether it's a local group or an online forum, where dreamers like you share their struggles and wins. I found my writing workshop through a random Reddit thread, and it changed everything. You don't have to do this alone. If this video spoke to you, hit that subscribe button. I'm here, sharing what I've learned, because I believe you can rewrite your story too. Every week, I'm dropping new videos on chasing dreams, breaking bad habits, and living a life that feels true. Don't miss out. Join this journey with me. And in the comments, tell me, what's that one dream you've been too scared to chase? How many hours are you losing to distractions every day? Be honest. Writing it down makes it real, and reading your stories keeps me going too. One last thing. Don't let fear win. I almost did. I almost stayed in that soul-crushing job, scrolling through a life I didn't want because I was scared of what came next. But every step I took, every word I wrote, every risk I embraced, brought me closer to who I was meant to be. The Alchemist didn't just change my mindset. It changed my life. It showed me that the treasure isn't at the end of the journey. It's in the courage to keep going. So take that step. The universe is waiting. What are you waiting for?